Welcome you all once again in my YouTube channel. In today's class, we will learn about the soluble groups and we will prove some basic theorems on soluble groups. So, let us define first of all soluble groups. This is the definition of soluble group. A group G is called soluble if there exists a finite sequence of subgroups of G. G equals to H0 contains H1, contains H2, contains S3, contains ... contains Sn, which is equals to singleton set containing identity only, such that each next one means each Hi plus 1 is normal in Hi and the corresponding quotient group Hi upon Hi plus 1 is abelian. Then the series will be a soluble series and group is soluble group. So this group G is called soluble if we can find a sequence of subgroups H1, H2, H3 ... Hn in which the first member is G and we can say the last one is singleton set containing identity only, and this sequence is simply decreasing sequence, and each next one means each Hi plus 1 is normal in Hi. So in this sequence each group is normal in the previous one. That means H1 is normal in H0, H2 will be normal in H1, H3 will be normal in H2 and so on. And the corresponding quotient group H0 by H1, H1 by H2 all are abelian. So this is the definition of soluble group. Now let us give one example. It is a general example that every abelian group is soluble, since for every abelian group we have this series G is equals to G0, after that G1 which is equals to this singleton set containing identity only. We know this E is normal subgroup of G and therefore the series satisfy the first property, and the quotient group G by E, we know this is isomorphic to group G, and therefore this quotient group will be abelian because of G is abelian. So we can say every soluble group, every abelian group is soluble. So this is first example. Let us give another example. In case of non-abelian group, S3 is a soluble group. Since we can find a soluble series for S3 and which is given by S3, after that A3, and after that the singleton set containing identity only. So here S3 is this set I 1 2 1 3 2 3 1 2 3 1 3 2. This set is S3 and A3 is set of all even permutations which are I 1 2 3 and 1 3 2, and we know A3 is normal in S3, and since the quotient group S3 by A3 is of order 2, since its order is equals to order of S3 by order of A3, order of S3 is 6 and order of A3 is 3, so its order will be 2, and we know 2 is a prime number, therefore S3 by A3 will become a cyclic group, and we know every cyclic group is an abelian group, and therefore this quotient group is an abelian group. Again, therefore in this series we have two quotient groups, S3 by A3 and another is A3 by I. This A3 by I is isomorphic to A3, and A3 is a cyclic group, and therefore it is also abelian. So all the quotient groups in this series are abelian, and A3 is normal in S3 as well as I is normal in A3. So ultimately this series is a soluble series for the group S3, and hence we can say that S3 is a soluble group. Okay, now some basic theorems which we are going to prove today on soluble groups are these two theorems. Theorem number 1 is every subgroup of a soluble group is soluble, and theorem number 2 is if n is a soluble group if n is a normal subgroup of a group G such that n as well as G by n both are soluble, then G will be soluble. This is theorem number 2. So let us start proving this theorem. First of all, we prove theorem number 1. So let G be a soluble group. Then for this group G we can find a soluble series like this: G equals to G0 containing G1 containing G2 dot 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 up to Gn minus 1 containing in Gn, which is singleton set containing identity element only. And in this series each Gi plus 1 is normal in Gi, and the quotient groups of this series Gi by Gi plus 1 are abelian for each I equals to 0, 1, 2 dot 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 up to n minus 1. And let H be a subgroup of G. So we have taken just an arbitrary subgroup of group G. Now we have to show. So next we show that H is a solvable group. For this, let us claim that the series in which first element will become H is equals to suppose H0, and it is obtained by taking the intersection of H with G. It contains G intersection H1, it contains, so like this, G intersection H2. The next one will be G intersection S3 and so on, and the final one is G. So H1 and H2 are not there, so let us G1 intersection H, after that G2 intersection H, the final one is Gn intersection H, and definitely it will be the singleton set containing identity only. So we make a series of subgroups of H by just intersecting H in each member of this series. So we take just intersection of each member in this series. We get another series like this. This is, first one is G intersection H, which is H because of H is a subgroup of G. So all the common elements are nothing but the elements of H, and therefore G intersection H will be H, and it contains G1 intersection H, it contains G1 intersection G2 intersection H, and so on. The final one, means last one, is Gn intersection H, which is identity. Reason is that Gn is equals to identity. So it is obviously subset of H, and therefore intersection of this identity and H will be identity. So now we will prove that actually this is a soluble series for the group H. Since H is a subgroup, so it is itself a group. Now, for simplicity, let Hi is equals to G intersection Gi intersection H. For all I equals to 0, 1, 2, n. Then the above series can be written as so we can write the above series like this. The first one is H0, which is equals to H. After that H1, after that H2, and G3 intersection H will be H3. So after that we can write H3, and so on up to Hn, which is this singleton set containing identity only. Call it series number 1. So next we saw that this series number 1 is actually a soluble series for the group G, and for this purpose we introduce a mapping. So consider this mapping. Consider the mapping. Suppose mapping is phi, and it is from Hi to Gi by Gi plus 1. Okay, so this mapping is considered for showing that the quotient groups in one are actually abelian. Since each next one is normal in the previous one in series 1 is almost obvious, means we can say obviously we can say that H2 is normal in H1, H3 is normal in H2, because what is H3 or what is H1? First of all H1, and it is G1 intersection H, and what is H0? H0 is G0 intersection H, and since G1 is normal in G0, so G1 intersection H is normal in G0 intersection H. We can easily show this result. So in general we can say that each Hi plus 1, which is Gi plus 1 intersection Hi, will be normal in Gi intersection H. So you can prove this result easily. So in this theorem I am going to show the difficult part, that is actually each quotient group in series 1 will become an abelian group. So for this purpose we have defined this function phi from Hi to Gi by Ji plus 1, and this mapping is defined by, consider the mapping phi defined by this rule, phi of some element x of Hi is equals to x into Gi plus 1. So let us analyze something about this function. First of all, phi is well defined. Okay, phi is well defined. So phi is mapping from Hi to Gi by Gi plus 1. So if we take any element in Hi is nothing but Gi intersection H. So we can say that this X is also in Gi, since the elements of Hi are the common elements of Gi and H. So every element of Hi will be an element of Gi, and this implies this coset X Gi plus 1 will be an element of this quotient group Gi by Gi plus 1, and therefore phi is well defined. Thus we can say phi is well defined. After that we see that phi is a homomorphism. Okay, let us show phi is a homomorphism. So let us take two elements in Hi, x and y. So phi of xy will be simply xy into Gi plus 1, and this can be written as x Gi plus 1 into y Gi plus 1. So the first one is obviously phi of x, and the second one is phi of y, and result will be true for all x and y belongs to Hi. So this result implies just that phi is a homomorphism. Next, let us find out the kernel of this mapping. So the kernel of phi is what? It is collection of all those elements of Hi whose image is identity of the quotient group Gi by Gi plus 1, which is Gi plus 1. This is the identity element. Gi plus 1 is the identity element of the quotient group Gi by Gi plus 1. So this is collection of all those elements of Hi such that phi of x, by definition phi of x is x Gi plus 1 equals to Gi plus 1. So this is nothing but x belongs to Hi, and we can say Hi is a subset of H, and from this relation x into Gi plus 1 equals to Gi implies just that x will be an element of Gi plus 1 and conversely. So we can write this set as x belongs to Hi such that x belongs to Gi plus 1, and we can see easily that this set is nothing but H intersection Gi plus 1, or we can say Gi plus 1 intersection H, and therefore this is nothing but Hi plus 1. So kernel of this mapping is Hi plus 1. Therefore from the first theorem on homomorphism, since we have a mapping phi which is mapping from Hi to Gi by Gi plus 1, and this is homomorphism and its kernel is Hi plus 1. We have just proved that its kernel is Hi plus 1. So from the first theorem on homomorphism, therefore from first isomorphism theorem, or fundamental theorem of homomorphism, we can say that Hi by kernel of phi, this is actually equals to phi of Hi. So phi of Hi is some subgroup of Gi by Gi plus 1. And this is nothing but Hi, kernel of phi is Hi plus 1, so this is Hi by Hi plus 1. So we can say this Hi by Hi plus 1 will be a subgroup of Gi by Gi plus 1, and this result is valid for all I equals to starting from 0, 1, 2 dot 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 up to n minus 1. And therefore due to this phi Hi, which is subset of Gi by Gi plus 1, is an abelian group, since Gi by Gi plus 1 is an abelian group, and we know every subgroup of an abelian group is an abelian group, and therefore phi of Hi will be an abelian group. And since this is isomorphic to, since phi of Hi is isomorphic to Hi by kernel of phi, which is Hi by Hi plus 1, so in this way we can say that Hi by Hi plus 1 will be an abelian group for all I equals to 0, 1, 2 dot 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 up to n minus 1, and therefore the series number 1, this series number 1 will become an soluble series for group H, since each next one is normal in the previous one, as well as we have just seen that the corresponding quotient groups are abelian. And in this way we can say that every subgroup of a soluble group is soluble. Now let us move on to the another theorem. So today's second theorem, theorem number 2. In this theorem we have a group G and a normal subgroup N of G, such that the normal subgroup N and the quotient group G by N both are soluble, and then we have to show that G will be soluble. So we have, since G by N is soluble, since G by N is soluble, therefore we can find a sequence of subgroups of G by N, in which first member will be G by N, after that call it G0 by N, after that some subgroup call it G1 by N, after that G2 by N. In this way we have some stage in which Gm by N, and this is the singleton set containing identity only, which is N. So we can find this type of sequence of subgroups of G by N such that the number 1 is each Gi by N is normal in Gi minus 1 by N, and second is the quotient groups. So the quotient groups are Gi minus 1 by N by Gi by N are abelian, or we can say is abelian. Result will be valid for all I equals to starting from 1, 2, 3 up to N, up to M. So we have a soluble series for G by N, in which every next one is normal in the previous one, and the corresponding quotient groups are abelian. Now we have an theorem, an isomorphism theorem, which tells that this Gi plus Gi minus 1 by N by Gi by N will be isomorphic to Gi minus 1 by Gi. By Gi. So we know this is one of the isomorphism theorem. This is second isomorphism theorem actually, and from this theorem, by applying this theorem, we can say these quotient groups are abelian. Isomorphism means what? Isomorphism means, suppose two groups are isomorphic, then there is no difference among them in algebraic point of view. Means two isomorphic groups have same algebraic properties. All the algebraic properties are same for isomorphic groups. So the isomorphism of these two groups suggests us that this one gi by gi minus 1 by gi must be an abelian group. Okay, now let us come into the another information of this theorem, that is n is soluble. Since n is soluble, and therefore we can find a sequence of subgroups of n, which is like this: n equals to n0 contains n1, contains n2, contains n3, contains n4, and so on up to, suppose, nt, which is the singleton set containing identity element only, such that the number 1 each ni plus 1 is normal in ni, and second, the corresponding quotient group ni by ni plus 1 is abelian for all I equals to, starting from 0, 1, 2, dot 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 up to t minus 1. So we must have this type of sequence of subgroups of n, in which every subgroup is actually normal in the previous one, and the corresponding quotient groups are abelian. Now consider the series is like this. Let us start from g equals to g0, which contains g1, which contains g2, contains g3 dot 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 up to gm, and this gm is nothing but actually n, and n equals to n0. And after this stage, let us attach this series. So it contains n1, it contains n2, dot dot dot, it contains nt, which is the singleton set containing identity only. And here we can easily see that from this stage, n equals to n0 up to the last, this part of this series satisfy all the criteria to be a soluble series. And for this section, we can say this is also satisfy these two criteria for being a soluble series, is that G1 is normal in Z0. Why? Since we have G1 by n, which is normal in G0 by n, we have already this result, since this series is a soluble series. So G1 by n is normal in G0 by n, and therefore we can say the G1 will be normal in G0. It is very easy to prove that whenever G1 by n is normal in G0 by n, then G1 will be a normal subgroup of G0 containing n. So in general we can say, since Gi by n is normal in Gi minus 1 by n, therefore Gi will be a normal subgroup of Gi minus 1 containing n for all I equals to 1, 2, 3 ... m. So from that result we can say this G1 is normal in G0, G2 is normal in G1, and so on. So the first condition is fulfilled. Now about the quotient group, we have earlierly discussed that each Gi minus 1 by Gi is abelian, and therefore in this section all the quotient groups are abelian. Now what about the Gm? So Gm by n equals to n. So look, if Gm by n equals to n, this singleton set means what? Actually Gm by n is the quotient group containing the elements of this type xn, where x belongs to Gm, and this n is a normal subgroup of Gm. Now the Gm by n contains exactly one element, and therefore every element of Gm will be an element of n, since xn equal to n if and only if x belongs to n. So this result implies just that Gm by n equals to n implies that Gm must be contained in n, but n is a normal subgroup of Gm. So on combining these two results, we can say that Gm must be equals to n, and therefore Gm will be equals to n, and after this step we just attach this soluble series. So this whole series is ultimately a soluble series for the group G, and on the basis of this series we can say G is a soluble group, and this proves the theorem. Thank you for attending this class.